Hi, I'm Brittany, and you're watching A Ship Called Relation. Here today we have a very special guest, Maureen Tara-Nelson of MTN Matchmaking, the president of MTN Matchmaking, actually. And I'm here with Chris and Desiree, and Maureen's going to be talking to us about dating tips, first date advice, a little bit about some of the stuff that she has going on with MTN, and we're just going to have some fun. So,
welcome, Maureen.
Welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So, why don't you tell us a little bit about MTN Matchmaking here on Long Island?
Well, we've been matchmaking for 14 years. We are for nice, decent, quality single people that are looking for a committed relationship, that are tired of the bar scene. They realize that the internet is not the way to go anymore because of the danger and all of the problems associated with it. Basically, men, no offense, just want sex on the internet. So I hear that question or that response every single day of my matchmaking.
You mean to tell me Craigslist isn't where I'm going to find someone I'm in love with?
Unless you want to kill them and hide them out east.
Turn them into a jacket.
Yes.
Right, okay.
So, I'm for nice, decent, quality people, emotionally stable, financially stable, that are really looking for a committed relationship. So they come to me, they come to my company, and we do all the work for them.
Awesome, and that is why we brought Desiree on the show today.
Yes, it's beautiful. She'll do great.
I'm new on the scene, so I need all the tips I can get.
You got it.
The Bachelorette.
Yes, that's
Piece of cake.
So what would you do for someone like Desiree, who's single in the game here, and has questions about where to turn and what to do? Like, what would be some of the steps you would take to kind of coach her, I guess?
Well, first I'd have to get to know her. So I would sit down with her for about an hour and get to be an expert on her personality. To help her with that, she would have a little homework to do before we met, and you would think of your 5 best qualities, and then either I would sit down with you or one of my matchmakers, and we would assess our best qualities of you as well. And then regardless of who you interview with, I do a personality test on you.
Oh, that's really cool.
So using all of those, it enables us to find you a compatible match, which is really the most important thing. You have to be compatible and you have to have chemistry for a relationship to work and last.
Oh, don't I know that a few times over. So
I want to talk about first dates because so many people think that they are such a great dater. With this guy right here.
Great date. I think I'm acceptable. I think I'm a pretty good date. The relationship, I don't know. I'd have to ask my girlfriend about that. But I think I'm a decent date, I would like to think. But
most of my clients and people I meet always think that they're a great date.
The men mostly, would you say?
Actually, unfortunately, it's both.
Really?
Everyone thinks they're a great date, but I run a very tight ship. And
Congratulations.
Nice
all
plug.
of my clients follow the rules. I have a list of do's and don'ts. And if they do follow the rules, they really will be a great date. If they don't follow the rules, I'll find out the next day when the other person calls me up and says, that guy, all he did was talk about politics. All he did was talk about sex and his ex-girlfriend. So if you've done any of those things, you're not a good date.
So you coach kind of both sides. You're like the best friend. You're the best friend for both people that you're hooking up, and you get the phone call the next day of this one didn't work, this one did work, and all right.
And why?
And
so
why?
then I could fix it.
Cool.
That's the key.
That is the key.
So you're not just teaching people how to be a better date or whatever, you're actually giving them life skills too, because these are things that can transfer to many different areas of life.
Because all of my clients, and I have 1,200 clients, they're all the best of the best clients in the tri-state area. I have an office in Long Island, Melville, Manhattan, and now we just opened New Jersey.
Wow.
So
That's awesome.
these are all great quality people that can get their own dates. It's just our job to find them someone that's at their level, who they're compatible with, and who they have chemistry with. So I'm just taking a great quality person already and helping them with the actual dating skills to perfect those so that they really are a great date. Because you might be the best business person. I could tell you're a great guy with work, but I don't know how you are on a date because I've never
Don't
gone
ask
out.
Brittany, don't ask Desiree.
I never got
She
a
can
so-
do that.
So because of that, no matter how successful, we'll just use a guy for an example. Pick on you for a second.
But yeah, just
That's why
fine.
he's here. He's
Something
used to
tells
it.
me it's going to be
So a guy could be, the smartest, most attractive, successful businessman.
using me as an example, right?
And he can go on a first date and just talk the whole time about how great he is. That's a horrible dater. But he doesn't think so,
Not what I
that
do on
guy.
dates, so it's good.
So it's my job, once I hear that feedback, to say, you got to let her talk. You have to find out about her. In time, she'll find out about you. So
That's
again,
a good tip.
it goes back to my dating do's and don'ts of let the other person talk. Find out 5 great qualities about that person on the first date. Because if you don't, you've talked too much. If you don't walk away from that date knowing 5 great things about that person, you've done too much talking.
Yeah, I've been on a lot of dates like in the past with guys that I feel like they were trying to impress me, so they would just keep talking about themselves,
Right.
and it was a turn off to me because I was
Right.
like, okay, well, I'm not here to
Right,
know
right.
your bank account or like.
Well, that's an insecurity.
Yeah, exactly. So that's good.
That means they're trying to impress you, Brittany.
I know. honestly.
I mean, it is a compliment,
Yeah.
but it's not going to get them a second date with you.
Exactly.
So you're not building, you don't build a dating network. That's really what sets you apart from the online dating and things
Oh,
like that. You're not building a dating network, you're building a relationship network. You're looking
Yes.
to make that match for long term, not just here's you're not churning and burning, so to speak, which is what the
Exactly.
online dating scene really
Right.
is.
That's for sex. If someone just wants to go out and have sex and have fun, use the internet.
Use plenty of fish.
Yeah,
They're always the worst.
Of course it is. You get what you pay
Scary.
for. Whereas when you're ready, when you're successful, and if you're single, the next part of your life, hopefully, is I want a successful partner to build the rest of my life with. That's when people come to me, and I do all the work for them at that point.
Wonderful.
Now I have a question about first
Sure.
dates.
Yes.
What's too much information to, like if someone asks you a question, how do you respond in depth without going that extra step that's just a little too far?
Okay, well, I'd
Learn
like
from-
to take it
Because I
a
feel like I
step
learned so
before
much.
that, just to help in that answer. Okay. With my do's and don'ts, it begins with the first phone call. The biggest mistake that people make when they're dating is that phone call should only be to set up the date. Too many times I hear people, oh, we spoke for 2 hours and it was great for the first hour and 58 minutes, but then, can you believe he said this? I'm not going out with him. It happens. If you're going to stay on the phone for someone for 2 hours, one of you is going to say something stupid. So it's just human nature because we're nervous. Everyone is nervous when you're dating. I don't care when people walk in, oh, I'm not nervous at all. But everybody's nervous on dating. So the first step for you is the first phone call should be short and sweet. Just set up the date. I recommend also taking it a step further, just to go out for a drink or two maximum or lunch or brunch on the weekend and stay only an hour to an hour and a half. That way, there's really not that much pressure on the first date. Then my second rule of thumb is, as long as that person is nice looking, in my program, they're going to be nice looking because I show photos. Okay, but, so you're out on the date, he's nice looking, but he's not impressing you, say. Always go on that second date.
That was my next question.
Yes, because if he's nervous, he's not putting his best foot forward. This is not business. And I think that's the biggest misconception people have about dating, that they might be great business people and not great daters because they're using it as a business transaction. In business, your first impression is the most important thing. But on a date, when you're nervous, you can't do that. You can't make those standards way too high that you're going to fail. So if you go into the first date thinking, all right, I'll have a great time, I'll spend an hour and a half with this person, and then no matter what, I'll think of 5 great things about them, and no matter what, I'll give them a second date. That second date will always be better than the first date.
I agree.
So
Definitely more comfortable on the second, I would say.
I hope I answered your
Yes, you
question.
did.
What kind of advice do you give to girls and women our age? We're in our 20s.
Okay.
Sometimes we might wear things that might send the wrong message. At least that's what I've seen. Not personally. Okay, personally as well. But
I trust her.
But I mean, like,
that on the first date. That's
maybe when I
wonderful.
was Desiree's age, it would probably be. I'm probably talking about that because when I was her age, I was in college. Well, that 3 years is a huge difference of how I dressed. But like, what are some tips you would give to someone in their 20s going on these dates and stuff, trying to find a serious boyfriend's future husband? I mean,
well, I start my program at 20, and for all of my 20-year-olds, I have a specific program for 20-year-olds where there's no stress, it's short, it's sweet, it's easy, and what I really recommend that you would do, and you would do, is just to be yourself and dress in a way like what you're wearing now are both perfect examples. And keep it to the guidelines that I mentioned before too. Don't go on a dinner for a first date with a total stranger, because if you're not compatible to him, it's not going to work. Whereas, not to toot my own horn about my program, but any first date of mine, you already know you're compatible in 3 different areas. So that's not going to happen. So you will spend an hour to an hour and a half, and you should see some sort of that compatibility. If you don't on the first date, it's okay, because you'll see it on the second date.
So with your program, I don't have to Google or Facebook stalk my potential
Oh,
dates
God,
to get all the information out of them.
In
I
fact-
already have her to get the information.
No, I do a criminal felony background check in every single state,
Wow.
in fact.
that's good.
And you'll know by going on that date that that person is compatible to you in 3 ways. And then we take it a step further, that part of your homework is not only what are your 5 best qualities, but it's also what are your 5 must-haves. So if I asked you now what your 5 must-haves are, and we should do this in a minute,
Yes.
then after I would match you up with someone in 3 different ways of compatibility, that girl would have all 5 of your prerequisites.
Really?
What else could you ask for a first date?
Yeah.
But while we're on the topic,
my
what
5
I-
must-haves?
5 and not 20. Sometimes people come in and they'll say, I have to have all these 20 things. It's impossible. No one is perfect. No one is ever going to reach that.
Right,
So
right.
5 I can do, and 5 is enough that you can have a successful relationship. So what are your 5 must-haves?
My 5 must-haves. Here we go. Okay, I'm like breaking out of sweat here. Passion about something. It doesn't matter. I don't necessarily mean romantically. I mean passion about a topic or about
No,
a
I
subject.
could see that. You need someone passionate.
Yeah, I need someone who
Yeah.
is going to match
Right.
my fire in certain things. I'm
Right,
very
yes.
passionate about certain
I
things.
agree.
Confidence.
Yes.
They can't be, I don't like carrying a conversation. I can, as Brittany may well know, but I don't enjoy that. No, it works. She always busts my chops because she's like, you're just such a talker. You just talk all the time.
Get on to number 3. You're proving my
3, I would say they need to be educated, and I don't mean that in a shallow. I say that in the least shallow way possible, but I need to be able to hold an intellectual conversation with.
So
with
she has
them.
to be smart. Why don't we say that?
Smart, yeah, but I feel like smart is more. I think that's more shallow than educated, right? Because you can not necessarily
No.
be smart genetically, I guess, but be educated.
Someone can. Most of my clients are educated, that they have a college education. Some of them are super successful, very intelligent, and then they'll leave the area blank, and I'll say, where'd you go to school? You left this out. And they'll say, oh, for one reason or another, they didn't go to college, but
Right.
I couldn't tell.
Okay.
So here,
So
that
that's
person
smart.
is intelligent, or we would say intelligent. Yes.
Able to hold an intellectual conversation
Exactly.
above,
Yes.
Real Housewives
Right.
talk. I would have to say they're independent. I need someone who's independent. I need someone who can carry themselves and isn't. If I'm at a networking event or I'm hosting a party, I don't need to be tethered to them at all times. Where they can they're okay flying on their own at times.
Why is that so important?
It's very important to me because I'm self-diagnosed ADD, and I float around like a butterfly at parties, and I'll say hi to everybody, and I'll be mingling, and it's very hard for me to stay in one place at once.
Are you on medication?
No.
Why not?
No, I mean, I just have a lot of energy, so I'm always
Okay.
floating around, and it's very important all right, next on Dr. so independence is big for me because not only that, I was also, my mom was a single mom raising me, and so I view that as a very admirable quality that I find important. And then the last one I would have to say is that they are loyal. Loyal to, I don't mind if they're loyal to friends or whatever, but loyalty is big because it's trust. It has a lot to do with trust, and I need to know that if someone won't stab someone in the back to make to better themselves. They'll be loyal to whatever the commitment was.
My assessment of that is great because most men do come in, and the one commonality is that most men will always say they want someone loyal because if they've ever tried the internet, they've gone out with girls that were fine with going out with them for, say, 6 months until they found a prettier, person or
someone better looking
a
smart,
more successful guy, and whatever. But when people come to me, they're seriously looking for a committed relationship, so they're not looking to upsell continuously.
Right.
They want to find the right person right from the beginning. So even though loyalty should be extremely important, it's almost like a given if they're going to walk in my door. Mm-hmm. Now, I just want to bring up an obvious thing with your top 5. Mm-hmm. The part about being independent at a party or a networking event. Mm-hmm. You talked about how she should have confidence. Mm-hmm. So right away, if a girl has confidence, she more or less is going to be able to fly on her own at a business event. You left that attractive. So which would you rather? Her to be attractive or to be fine at a business networking event?
I feel like if they have those qualities, they will be attractive to me.
Okay.
No? All right.
Shuts you down. I love it.
All right. So
do you want someone attractive?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So now what you would have to do is eliminate one of those other things.
All right, so that counts? That's a thing?
Of course.
All right. But I feel like isn't that a given? Who's like, I want a homely person who is, mediocre.
Look, not everyone is attractive. I mean,
True.
You are all very attractive, okay?
Thank you.
But not everyone is. That doesn't mean that they don't deserve love. Someone could be super successful, the nicest person in the world, and someone will love them. Remember Sex and the City, her husband, bald, unattractive, but because his personality was so great, she didn't care that he wasn't attractive, because he's not attractive. Mm-hmm. So I had a feeling that you would want someone attractive, so you would have to eliminate one of those others. I would recommend, if I were your matchmaker, since you said, again, like I mentioned before, she has to be confident, I think that would take care of the independent part.
Yep. All right, cool. So then we'll
that would be my job of working together with that person to come up with the best 5.
You're my coach. I trust you. I think that's the right call. And I'd just like to point out that when you said we're all attractive, not one of us thanked you. We all were like, oh, did you? All right.
Well,
I didn't thank you.
They did. You didn't.
Thank you. I said, okay, yes.
Yes, I did.
So I
girls,
didn't thank you. So thank you for that.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate that compliment.
Oh, I meant the girls.
Oh, I'm kidding. All right.
No, it's okay.
I'm really kidding. You are attractive. I'm
totally,
really just trying to make you laugh.
in the punching bag here, so we're good. We're good.
He is. I have a question. So, typically when we were setting up the first dates and everything, have you ever had a woman insist on being the one to initiate the first date? And what do you say to something like that? Because there's very strong women out there who really want to be like, I'm the one in charge.
There are very strong women out there, and thankfully my one assistant, Stacy, who's been with me 5 years, she's amazing. And I run a family business too. My sister is one of my assistants, Jerry. Suzanne is one of my assistants. She's my niece. So I have the best staff ever. Stacy not only schedules my appointments, but now she's doing the interviewing process for me, because with the new office and my upcoming dating show, I'm going to be leaning towards the media part more of my business. However, I'll still always be doing the matchmaking. Mm-hmm. However, in saying that, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
Should the woman initiate? Do you ever encourage them to?
So Stacy is so good of talking with the people on the phone that, remember, I don't think I said it. my screening process is everyone has to be a nice, decent, quality, positive person. That's all that I choose to deal with and work with. That's it. So if you're not like that, don't even call 1-888-31-MATCH. Also, you have to be emotionally stable. I'm a former pharmaceutical rep. I learned how to diagnose that. Have to be emotionally stable. You also have to be financially stable, because that rules out all the nonsense on the internet of, people not having jobs. Or they're gold diggers or this and that. Everyone is financially stable, and everyone's looking for a committed relationship.
Wow.
So,
The woman initiating it.
yes, it's a real sore spot. That's why I'm having difficulty saying it. I'm trying to.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Okay, Stacy knows. Bulldozer on the phone. Sorry, Maureen's not going to want to meet with you.
Wow.
Someone gets past Stacy, if I'm doing the interviewing, starts right off bulldozing me, and that's what I call it. Again, I run a tight ship. Out the door in 2 seconds. And what I say is, men don't want a powerhouse as a wife. Would you want a powerhouse?
No.
Okay, but
In
yet
some ways.
you would respect at work if she was like that, right?
Of course.
Okay, so this is what I say. Leave it at work. What men tell me every day is they want soft, loving, and someone that will love them for them and not their money.
Right.
So if someone comes in and they're a powerhouse or a B, if you know what I'm saying, I'm not going to make them a client, because no, I would never be able to match them up with any of my guys. You would kill me if I matched you up with a girl that was a B.
Well, I feel like powerhouses and B personalities, Britney personalities.
You know what I mean by B, right?
Yes, I do know
Okay.
what you mean by B.
Just wanna make sure
It
he
just
knows.
happens to coincide with
I don't know if
certain
I'm
B
allowed
names.
to curse on the show.
But
That's
no,
why.
we're a family-friendly show. But no, I think the bulldozer personality, with that comes inherently sometimes a negative personality too.
course.
They're very
Of
controlling
course.
and very, they
And
have
again, sometimes they slip through the cracks, which is a very upsetting situation. And when that happens, I have a clause right in my contract. If you act inappropriately to either one of the clients or to one of my staff, you're out.
Off the
Right.
ship.
And
Off the
unfortunately,
ship.
you're off
No
that
buoy,
ship
no life
of MTN matchmaking. Unfortunately, it's happened. I could cite numerous examples, unfortunately, but out of niceness, I won't.
So before, sorry, I'm gonna
please,
cut you
please.
off. Actually, I'm not sorry. Before we wrap up, can you tell me a little bit about this bachelor contest that I
Yes.
saw online?
Took the
Because
words right out of my mouth. So
Yes.
it's
perfect.
Okay, so this is for you.
Oh,
Okay,
I'm
and
not
for
a
all.
He's not a
I'm not a
bachelor.
bachelor for the record.
Oh,
She's the bachelorette.
okay. So I'm giving you
She's
all
the
this
bachelorette.
free
all this
dating
advice, and I'm just
for
gonna
no reason
pass it along to
whatsoever.
our audience here.
Okay, so if you're a single guy looking for a committed relationship, we are running at MTN Matchmaking a fabulous contest called the Long Island's Best Bachelor. We're not just picking one, we're picking many. So you can find that on my business Facebook, Maureen Tara Nelson Private Matchmaking. You could find it on Long Island Pulse Facebook. You could also find it on my Maureen Tara Nelson Private Matchmaking, or just Maureen Tara Nelson Twitter. And you just enter to win, giving some information on your personality, and we will be selecting many winners. I think the first 50 people that enter win a fantastic gift certificate to a fantastic restaurant, Jonathan's in Huntington, just for
I've heard of it.
entering it.
Wow.
So
That's cool.
you'll win either a free membership or a free match. That we have so many free, things to offer in this Long Island's Best Bachelor Contest.
Very
So
cool.
if
Wonderful.
you're a guy and you're single and you're looking for a committed relationship, please enter. You'll be very happy.
It's the first time I've ever been bummed out to be in a relationship. I can't enter this awesome
Oh, you're in
contest.
trouble. All right,
I
well,
can't
Can't enter
comment
that
on that.
awesome contest, man.
I don't want to break up anybody.
No.
you won't. No.
Business is to bring people together and not break them up.
Well, thank you so much for being on our show, A Ship Called
Oh,
Relation.
thank you.
And if you just
It's
want to
great.
tell everyone else where they could find you online
Yes.
one more time and your number,
Okay.
tell the camera, tell the audience.
My website is mtnmatchmaking.com, and you can call a couple of phone numbers, 1-888-31-MATCH or 516-444-2861 or 631-577-7940, all for a free consultation or just for more information.
Thank you so much, and thank you
Thank
for
you for
all
having me.
Thank you so
I had a
much.
great
Thank
time.
you. Your tips were awesome. I'm sure Desiree will use them.
I'm ready to go out now.
And thank you for
Friday yet?
picking on Chris with us.
Just stay away from the bars. That should be
got it.
the next segment.
bars,
will be
Yes, we'll talk
stay out
about
of the
that.
bars. You have to become a client.
You got it.
Okay, good.
Well, we hope to have you back again. And thank
Thank
you
you.
everyone for watching A Ship Called Relation on the Daily Blue.